26 years ago, this morning's guest said, "Giddy up." Since then, more than $3 million have galloped to the American Heart Association. Meet him, coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at Design It, custom design services and retail furniture here at the former Waccamaw Outlet Mall on Highway 501 in Myrtle Beach. We're focused on the 26th annual Jack Monroe Horseback Beach Ride-a-Thon to be held the first weekend in November. And we're visiting with the man himself, Jack Monroe. Good morning, Jack.
How you doing, Greg?
Thank you so much for coming in this morning. It's a tremendous honor to get you in and to think about anyone who's committed this many years to one cause and making a difference to fight heart disease and stroke. It really is an honor.
It's an honor for you to have me. I mean, it's an honor to be here.
It really means a lot. You know, we think about it. I saw a press release from 8 years ago that went out in October of '99 that was titled National Recognition Given for Local Man's Lifetime of Service. That was 8 years ago, getting honored that way, and year after year folks continue to recognize you for your efforts to make this thing happen. The amazing thing is, as I was reading that press release, Jack, from October '99, it highlighted the success in '98 of the Horseback Beach Ride-a-Thon of raising about $58,000. Think about what's happened in just 8 years.
It's amazing. When we started it, I couldn't conceive of a picture how big and how great this thing has grown.
Yeah.
I mean, it shocks me. I have to sit there and say, I can't believe this when you see 1,500 horses in one place. I mean, you talk about the cavalry, we got the cavalry.
Many times over,
Yeah.
yes. That is so exciting. You know, so many folks for year after year. You've got folks from all over the country.
We represent
other parts of the of Canada and other places.
Yeah, we represent. Sometime last year it was 22 states, and the year before we got up as high as 24 different states.
Wow.
And we had one couple that actually flew in from overseas and rented a horse. Somehow or another they got wind of it, and this thing has really grown by word of mouth.
Oh yeah, and the web has picked it up, horsebackbeachride.com. Horseback Beach Ride, that's possibly how those folks overseas found out about it, the power of the internet. We had gone on early this morning and Googled Jack Monroe, and there it comes, the Horseback Beach Ride. Your name's known all over the world.
Well,
both good and bad, yeah. No, I'm kidding.
Good and bad, yeah. The main thing is the research and stuff, the benefit the ride has done over the years. That's the whole thing in a nutshell. When we started it, I had no idea it would grow this fast and grow this big. We started the ride to try to keep the horses on the beach. I mean, the city was saying that, you know, they were going to not let the horses ride after Labor Day on the beach.
Right.
And Marge Stonebrook, I don't know whether you remember her, she used to be called Miss Hart.
Right.
And she was on the board of directors for the Heart Association. So I approached her and said, can we get together and see if we can't do something with the horses for a good cause and benefit everybody.
Right.
And it led from there to where we are now.
Amazing. How many years ago was that, Jack?
That's 26 years ago.
That is incredible. So you remember the first one 26 years ago?
Big old 35 horses.
Is that right?
And it was something like 35 degrees when we got on the beach.
Wow.
And cold, and we raised something like $2,600 or $3,600, and we thought we had really accomplished something.
Oh, absolutely, for good reason. For good reason. And of course, 26 years ago, even raising $3,200 was worth a lot more than $3,200 today.
Oh yeah, a lot more.
A heck of a lot more. What a big deal. If a viewer needs to get off to work now, Jack, or out get family off to school, I know there's now a direct phone number if someone wants to call to go straight in. We've obviously always been using the 626-3939 number, but Debbie had said there's a great direct number. What number is that,
There's a
Jack?
direct number now just for the ride is 282.
Right.
2930.
Okay, 843-282-2930.
Right.
2930. Of course, if someone went to horsebackbeachride.com, they'd see a link to the National Heart Association piece as well as just great information right there.
Greg, they can actually sign up on the web.
Is that right? Great, great. And have folks taking advantage of that?
Yeah. They can take the credit card, and they don't even have to talk to a human being. They can sign up right there, and all they got to do then is get in touch with Lakewood and give them that number and get their campsite.
Is that right? And it's all secure and everything. Folks are using that, putting their credit card in there, and there's no issue.
No issue whatsoever.
Fantastic. Is prevalence of heart disease and stroke really something that folks need to be concerned about, Jack? I think you brought some facts and figures that were pretty mind-numbing.
I tell you, I got
with viewers a little bit about some of those facts and figures you've got about heart disease.
I got 5 little did you know, and if you don't mind, I'd like to bring it up here because when you listen to it, it kind of, you sit there and scratch your head. I didn't realize that heart disease was that deadly.
As I read those a few minutes ago, I don't think I did either, and I'm obviously very supportive of the Heart Association.
And some of it is letting you know, too. Did you know the American Heart Association currently funds 22 research awards totaling $3 million within the South Carolina at University of South Carolina, Clemson, and MUSC?
I didn't know that.
Did you know 1 in 2.5 women will die from cardiovascular disease versus 1 in 30 breast cancer? That's amazing there.
Yeah.
Did you know that heart disease, stroke accounts for more than 40% of all deaths in South Carolina?
40% heart disease and stroke?
In South Carolina, 40%. That's almost 50% of the deaths.
Yeah.
Did you know that 700 of your friends, family, and neighbors died last year from cardiac vascular disease, heart attack, or stroke right here in Erie and Georgetown County?
More than 700
of your friends and neighbors. Did you know American Heart Association? This is the one that brings it into the ride and what makes the ride all worth it.
Right.
Did you know the American Heart Association is working to reduce disability and death due to cardiac vascular disease and stroke by 25% by year 2010?
Only 2.5 years from now. Right.
Yeah. So that shows the money that we're doing now raising.
Right.
That's our goal, to reduce that 40% down to 25% in there by year 2010.
Wow, tremendous commitment.
So a lot of research. And did you know that the Ride-a-Thon for the American Heart Association in the past 25 years has raised over $3 million towards research right here in South Carolina, Erie, Georgetown County?
I did not. More than $3 million.
More than
for
$3
research.
million.
That is tremendous. I did not know that.
That's what the ride has produced since we started.
And of course, if you think, those are just dollars that have gone straight into the Heart Association. If you think about the economic impact of that ride on Horry and Georgetown counties and adjacent counties, with all those people coming in from all over America, the economic impact has been immeasurable.
Right.
It's been absolutely immeasurable.
That time of the year is a lull.
Right.
And we're bringing them in from all over different states. We're bringing money back into Myrtle Beach.
Right.
Back into the campgrounds.
Right.
And it helps everybody. It's a win-win situation.
It does, absolutely. I suspect you'll get crowds that'll be visiting Myrtle Beach oftentimes for the absolute first time, and they're going to be coming back.
And every time I've talked to my wife and I, we all over the campground, checking out people, making sure everybody's getting what they need, and so the ride has a good reputation.
Oh, yeah.
And I've not met anybody that has told me they would not be back. Everybody says they will be back.
Right, yeah.
We have one guy that's been riding with us 20 years, Gene Duggars. He's this horse deal they bring in 30 people last year, and they have a meeting before they leave the campground. and each one of them is pledged to bring another rider back next year.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow, Jack.
So,
what a commitment. Well, of course, y'all last year turned away a lot of folks. It's always oversubscribed. You've got too many people interested in coming, and it's just difficult to fit everyone in. There are physical limitations of how many people you can fit.
Like we don't have so many lots, and once we fill them up, that's why anybody listening, if you hadn't registered, you need to go ahead and get registered and get your lot, because they are running out fast, and that's our problem. Once we fill up, we had to turn away almost 300 people last year.
Is that right, Jack? Almost 300 folks turned away. That's a terrible number when you think about it, because they really want to be here. They're willing to commit the dollars to fight heart disease and stroke, and they're also willing to get in there just to get out on the beach. It's a how many mile ride, Jack?
When you get back, if you make the whole ride, when you get back, you got right at 22 miles under your saddle.
Is that right?
And most people don't realize it, but when you get on that beach, and we used to ride all the way up to 82nd Avenue and made the turnaround, but since we were in Lakewood, that added another distance back.
Sure.
So now we make our turnaround at the Cherry Tree. But you got right at 22 miles under your saddle when you reach back.
Wow. Wow. Do you get out there and ride as well, Jay?
I don't get to enjoy the riding as much as I'd like to, and but I do get out. I got out last year a little bit.
Right. Is that right?
I got to ride Rocky, which was a horse that was in the Dixie Stampede, and his birthday was 25. He turned 25 on the ride.
No way.
And that was our 25th ride, so I got to ride Rocky last year.
That is amazing. The big silver anniversary, Jack. I can see why they changed the name from the Horseback Beach Ride to the Jack Monroe Horseback Beach Ride-a-Thon. You truly committed those efforts. So you were involved in the absolute first one.
Yes, very first one.
So have you been involved? Was there ever one that you missed, Jack?
No, I hadn't missed a one. My wife and I hadn't missed a one since we started.
You and Margot both. That's amazing. Well,
without her, I couldn't do it. Without her, I've
heard you say that I don't know how many times, Jack, and at some point that sinks in with everyone. I mean, obviously they've seen that, they've known that. Every time you say it, it just sinks in more and more. It's a great reminder of the love of two folks fighting the same mission there and fighting it together. That's a wonderful.
You know, it's kind of dear to my heart since I've had 4 heart attacks.
Have you really, Jack?
Yeah, I've had 4 heart attacks, and without the research, I wouldn't be here talking to you. So, when I started this thing, I didn't have any heart problems whatsoever, and I guess it was about into the 10th or 12th ride, somewhere in there, I had my first.
You had your first one?
Well, actually, it started with congestive heart failure.
Right.
And then after that, it's when I had 4 more heart attacks.
Have you had surgery to help protect
I have a couple stents in me.
Is that right?
I call them carburetor springs.
And those are so necessary now.
I know.
For so many people. Stents are a vehicle that a lot of people have to turn to.
20 years ago, somebody would have said, "You're going to put a spring in your heart." They'd have said, "Huh?"
Yeah. Would have had no idea.